Hello everyone, it's Davide here and welcome back to Learning Finance. Today guys, it is not a very great Christmas present, okay, for Alibaba. Before hours, minus 10%. And yes, another incredible attack from the Chinese government went through Alibaba mainly. So we are gonna see all of that. We are gonna see what has happened because this is from Bloomberg. China targets Jack Ma's Alibaba empire in monopoly probe. It is bad, okay? It is bad. We are gonna see what all of that means, and we are gonna also take a look at technical analysis to try to see where the stock price can go according to the graph. So the only thing I ask you guys as always is please leave me a like. It's very important and I thank you for it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new updates. Let's begin. Alright guys, so Alibaba as of now minus 10.17%, around $230 per share, with a gap, a huge gap in the negative side. So what has happened? This is the original article from Bloomberg, and basically China is bringing on the monopolistic investigation at Alibaba Group and summoned affiliate Ant Group to a high-level meeting over financial regulations, escalating scrutiny over the twin pillars of billionaire Jack Ma's internet empire. The probe, announced Thursday, marks the formal start of the Communist Party's crackdown on the crown jewel of Ma's sprawling dominion, spanning everything from e-commerce, logistics, and social media. The pressure on Ma is central to a broader effort to rein in an increasingly influential internet sphere. Draft anti-monopoly rules released in November gave the government wide latitude to restrain entrepreneurs who until recently enjoyed unusual freedom to expand their realms. And so, if you remember from my previous video that I did on Alibaba, I said at the end that we have to look at China not with a US mentality. The government is in top of everything, and basically it doesn't matter how a good business is. What matters is what the government thinks about that particular business. And below that video I actually got negative comments on people saying, oh, you're probably too negative about the Chinese outlook, it is not that true, the Chinese government will not do that, and blah blah blah. But it turns out that I wasn't wrong. Now, first of all, we had the Ant Group thing. Now that one, after reading carefully, I actually think that it was a great thing for the long-term development of China, okay? Because Ant Group came on with too much leverage. It was simply too much, and that what happens is that, as we have seen in the US during the 2008 financial crisis, is that when you play too much with risks and leverage, it's not gonna end up very well. A lot of people are gonna lose money. It was, in my opinion, something that they had to do. And then Ant Group say, we are gonna work to actually trying to meet those new rules and try to respect what the government is asking us. So that was great. And the market as well, the price bounced back from the first lows after the Ant Group IPO has been cancelled. But then here, what it seems to me is that we are having another problem. And the problem is that Beijing and the government really, they don't like Alibaba at all. So it is not just Ant Group, it is not just leverage. It is that they simply don't like Alibaba at all. It is becoming too powerful. It is becoming too much influential in everyday's life in China. And obviously, the government don't like that, okay? We can see here from the article said it's clearly an escalation of coordinated efforts to rein in Jack Ma's empire, which symbolized China's new too-big-to-fail entities, say Dong Ximiao. Chinese authorities want to see a smaller, less dominant, and more compliant firm. Let's take a look at the US first, okay? So in the US, historically, you have always had those 4-5 firms in every sector that they were basically dominating the entire sector. I think that this is pretty clear, but no one really cares about it. Okay, let's take a look at the top 5 companies. So Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and Google. Guess what? Yes, sometimes they come out with new regulations and stuff, like for example we have seen on Facebook, but at the end, guys, it is the United States of America. It is the home of capitalism, and they don't care much about it. Okay, they're gonna do a lot of fuss, those people, they're gonna pay something, but at the end those companies, they just skyrocket high. They are dominating everything goes through these 5 companies, but no one really cares about it. But instead, what China is demonstrating with these kind of things is that companies, they have blocked upside potential in China. Okay, they are not free to grow, and this is something, in my opinion, it actually hurts China itself in terms of the financial part of China. Don't get me wrong, I've always said China is gonna be the first economy in the world in the next 10 years. I don't have any doubts about it. However, if they want to build a strong financial things, they have to open themselves to the world, and they have to give more transparency, and they don't have to do this kind of power stuff. People, in terms of just investing in companies, they will continue to invest in the US, even though the economy grows at 2% and China grows at maybe 5-6%, because it simply doesn't make sense. In the US, you have an unlimited upside potential in companies. So obviously, as long as they continue to put all of that pressure, it is not good for foreigner investors. They don't have the confidence, they don't trust, they will not put more money in China because it is not safe. Okay, you are not in the game of the economy. When these kind of things happens, it doesn't mean to study a business, revenue growth, all this kind of stuff. It doesn't make sense anymore. Now, in terms of price, guys, here we have the graph, and in the previous video I told you that this square was important for Alibaba stock, and now we have seen how this black line 252 has been a strong support once, twice, and thrice, 3 times for Alibaba before this gap down today with the news. Another strong support was this one between 227 and 231. First of all, because if we take the Fibonacci retracement, we see how the 61.8 is actually here, 227, and then the above support of the previous highs before pandemic and then in the summer. So, but that level as well has been completely destroyed by the stock price. So where can this end? Where can the stock price go at this very moment? Well, at this point, I would take this uptrend going from December 2018 and then basically just taking the higher lows for 2 years, and we see how this trend line has been pretty consistent over the past 2 years, so that Alibaba stock overall can come down to basically here around $200, and this is perfectly possible considering the power that this down movement is now having, 215.59 at the moment. So it is very possible that the stock will hit once again this downtrend like we did during the pandemic. We are gonna see all of that. Obviously, I will continue to hold my shares because I think that during the long term, probably if they are smart, these kind of threats will end. However, it is not a good situation, and I'm telling you what, if I see that the stock is not able to hold this $200 point, I will sell absolutely everything. So this is the last call that I do on Alibaba, because I love the business, guys, but I really start to don't trust anymore the Chinese outlook to invest there. It is not healthy for the stock market if they don't change this mentality, in my opinion. So I've said many times, I want to see transparency, I want to see a more stock market friendly atmosphere. But as long as I continue to see that when a firm becomes too big, they try to destroy it, then no, I don't like it. So if Alibaba is not able to hold this 200 level, I'm gonna sell absolutely everything and take the loss, but I don't care. I will invest in the US. As of now, they have some kind of unfriendly problems with stocks. Okay, so that's my last target. If it goes below that level and threats continue to exist and put pressure on stuff like Alibaba, will sell everything. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Obviously, it is not a great news, and I warned you about the risks. I'm curious to see after Christmas what is gonna happen with Alibaba. Remember that in terms of fundamentals, they are gonna have probably the best quarter in terms of revenue ever, and the valuation that I did on Alibaba is not considering Ant Group. It's just Alibaba business itself. Okay, so without Ant Group, the Ant Group was a plus, and the stock fundamentally it is extremely undervalued. But we cannot add more than that. I'm not prepared enough to understand what the Chinese government is gonna do. I think that no one really knows, and they can do whatever they want. They are just the most powerful government in the world. And that obviously is not healthy for stocks. So we are gonna see how all of that will end up. And as always, guys, I hope you find this video interesting. Leave me a like and leave me a comment below. Tell me what do you think about this kind of situation. Will it end or not? I wish you a wonderful Christmas, and whenever you are in the world, have a nice Christmas, and let's hope that 2021 is gonna be way better than 2020. Have a nice day and have a nice Christmas.